If you've ever wondered what separates dreamers from achievers, well good, because in this video, I'm going to share 15 powerful habits that help turn my dreams into reality and how I could do the same for you. So besties, take out your pens, papers, highlighters, whatever it is that you need, because we are about to turn around. What's up? If you're new here, welcome Bienvenidos to the Self-Visionary community. I'm Haskiri, an actress from Washington Heights, New York, and I led a TV show all the way in Hollywood, California. And this channel is dedicated to teaching you the lessons I've learned along the way, as well as the many things I wish I had known a lot sooner to help me navigate this thing called life. All in hopes of helping you in yours. Now, let's get back into the video. This is where my morning starts. I come in here and the first thing I do is splash cold water on my face. Some of y'all are probably like, that's kind of crazy, but let me tell you, I'm not submerging my face in cold water. I'm not taking a towel and like suffocating my face with cold water. All I do is take a little bit in my hands and like just splash it, maybe tap it around my eyes, and that instantly wakes me up. That has been my trick to being a quote unquote morning person, because I know a lot of us, we are not morning people. I wasn't a morning person for a very long time. But the moment I started putting cold water on my face, it just gave me like this boost of energy. Like it just woke up my entire body. And the reason why I actually don't jump in the shower early in the morning is because I work out in the morning. So I feel like it defeats the purpose of showering, working out, and then showering again. We're trying to work smarter, not harder, okay? So I put water on my face and you'll be surprised how much more awake you're gonna feel. And then I do my whole skincare routine. And then the next thing I do is go straight into my closet. Because here's the thing, when we are creating certain habits and certain rituals, all of these things are gonna feel much harder than what they actually are. Waking up is gonna feel like an entire job. Because from the moment you wake up, you're gonna find thousands and thousands of reasons why you should snooze your alarm, why you should stay in bed. It's so cold outside, it's warmer under the covers. There's gonna be so many reasons for you not to do the thing, but there's always gonna be that one reason why you should. And so something as simple as waking up as soon as your alarm goes off and having that discipline to not snooze it, to not stay in bed longer, to just get up and throw that cold water on your face, that's already gonna help you get your day started. The next thing that helps me be a lot more productive throughout my entire day, I come straight into the closet and I put on my workout gear. One of the things that you want to do is immediately get dressed, because the whole point of getting dressed in the mornings is to manipulate your brain into thinking that you got to go do something. And that's one of the first steps in order for you to be more productive, is getting dressed. I don't care if you're going to sit on the couch all day. I don't care if you don't have anywhere to go. Get dressed, because I'm telling you, the moment you get dressed, you'll start getting new ideas. You'll start saying, yo, this is a cute outfit. Let me go see what I'm going to do with this. I don't want to waste this outfit. I know I don't. There's plenty of times where I've gotten dressed and I'm like, this outfit ain't going to waste. I'm going to go make a video, or I'm going to go out and do something. It just manipulates you to think that you have something to do. And the moment I put my workout clothes on, I'm already halfway there into working out. There's no excuses. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I already have the workout gear. All I gotta do is go into the gym and then do the thing. Another thing that getting dressed does is that it takes you out of your PJs, because what do we associate PJs with? The moment you hear that, you're instantly thinking sleep, coziness, relaxation. If you're trying to get your morning started in pajamas, you're creating a clash. It's just not gonna work. You're gonna be like, I'm kind of tired, but I kind of do want to do this. And you're just going to be going back and forth. The moment I decided that I'm just going to get dressed, whether or not I have somewhere to go, it made me a lot more productive. And that's a habit that you want to start implementing if you want to become a lot more productive. So once I do that, I'm already, dressed in my gym gear. I come down the steps and the dogs do follow me down. But I come in here and I go straight into my kitchen. Another healthy habit you should also practice is getting in the right nutrition from the moment you wake up. There is a non-negotiable, and that is my coffee. I'm always gonna need my coffee in the morning. That is the time that I take for myself. It's also the time I'm able to make breakfast, give my body the right nutrients, drink my water, and get myself mentally prepared for the rest of the day. If you start your day off very strong with a good, healthy, hearty breakfast and not a bunch of carbs and sugar, you'll have a lot more sustainable energy throughout your entire day. You're going to see how much more productive you're going to be throughout the day because you're not going to have that midday crash. You know the crash that I'm talking about when it's 3, 4 p.m. You're about to either clock out of work and you start seeing yourself get tired. You start saying like, I'm going to need another cup of coffee or I'm going to need more food. And now you're like trying to make up for the day and trying to give yourself the right energy. If you give yourself the right nutrients in the morning, you'll support your body, your mind, everything else a lot more throughout the entire day. What I'm trying to do is get a lot of protein in the morning because I know I'm going to go in the gym and I'm going to lift heavy. So I need that to support myself. I need to make sure that the food I'm consuming is going to support me in the gym so that I'm able to perform at my peak, right? Because I want to see progress. And that's the whole point about this video. Longevity, healthy habits will create a more sustainable, more supportive environment for you in order for us to keep pushing past that resistance, in order for us that when we find ourselves at dead ends or we wake up feeling down or, we're too hard on ourselves, those are the systems that are going to uplift us when we are faced with certain defeat. And you already know defeat isn't really defeat, but that's a video for another time. Another thing I love to do in this space, and this is like the energy that I've created in this space, is I sit down at my counter, right? Wherever that is for you. Your kitchen doesn't have to look like this. Your counter doesn't have to look like this because best believe before all of this, I had nothing. I used to go to Starbucks or I used to sit on the couch in our studio apartment and it was so small that I can jump from the couch to the bed. Like floor is lava, I could literally play that because that's how small the apartment was. It doesn't matter where you are. Just find the space where you're able to create that energy flow. And that's what I did with the kitchen. I will sit here and I will write down, just meet with myself. In the mornings, I love to meet with myself. I just love to reflect. I use my mornings to reflect on what I've been through, what happened yesterday. I meet with myself in the mornings so that throughout my day, if I'm having a long day or the day gets, out of control for me where I feel like I just can't grasp the day, I'm able to meet with the person in the morning. I'm able to meet with her and I'm able to just get reminded about my why, get reminded like this is going to happen. These things are inevitable, but it's okay. Let's keep pushing forward. We see that vision. We have that goal in mind. We have a destination. We just have to keep going. That's one of the things I love to do. So writing stuff down, writing your ideas down, and journaling help so much before you start your day. Before you give your energy and your day to everybody and anybody else, you give it to yourself first and foremost. Because in a world like today where there's so much distraction, there's very few times that you can have solely for you. And if you wake up early enough, you'll find that time. You'll be able to create that time. And honestly, it helps me mentally prepare for the rest of my day. It helps me not feel overwhelmed by the things that are going to come throughout the day that are unexpected, because there's so many things that happen on a day-to-day basis that can be extremely unexpected. But when you wake up and you ground yourself, there's nothing that could come in your way that is going to uproot you. Remember that. The most energy I know I'm going to have throughout my day is in the mornings. So I know that the most useful time to get a good quality workout in is going to be in the morning time. Obviously, I know a lot of us don't have that time in the mornings. We may have to wake up a little bit earlier to kind of get that. And I remember having to wake up at 5 a.m. just to get a good workout in at 6 a.m. because I knew my day was going to consist of a whole bunch of other things. And I knew I wasn't going to have any time later on in the day. I get in the gym and I do my workout. No excuses. There's nothing in my way. It's early enough in the morning where, stores are just opening up. People are just waking up and I'm getting ahead of the game. I've already took time to myself. I've already gotten dressed. I've already eaten my nutritional breakfast and now I'm already getting in my workout. So if you think about it, you are already 4 to 5 steps ahead of the average person. And not a lot of people have that in them to do it. So if you're able to do that and you're able to create that discipline, imagine how much more you're going to be able to do in the long run compared to everybody else. After I'm done with my workout, I'll come back upstairs, I'll shower, I'll get dressed. This is the aftermath, right? I got out the shower and I got dressed and I wanted to make this video for you guys really quickly. But I'll come into my office and this is where I start to plan out my day. I start to see, what can I do today? What is realistic for me to do today? What are the things that have certain deadlines? Having a planner is so important because you're able to see what your day would look like and you're able to not get overwhelmed because you kind of already know what to expect. So the moment something does come in out of left field, because, you know, life is life and some things will appear that are out of our control. But when we sit there and we plan our day, like I'll show you. So I actually got this planner from Target. I just went and planner that I thought was going to be useful for me. I like to look in through the planners, look at the pages and see what does it come with to see if it's going to be functional for me. I am a Virgo, so I love anything that's highlighted, color penciled in, organized. It has times, like that's just how my brain works. However, even with a good planner, one thing that I realized does stop me in my tracks where I feel like I just can't be as productive is having a cluttered space. Here's the thing with having too much clutter and not having any organization. And I read this in this book, hold on. The space where great work is done is holy. We must respect it. Because a person comfortable with a messy workspace will become comfortable with sloppy work. Basically, what he's saying is, if you're trying to spark ideas or you're trying to get ideas, but there's just so much clutter going on around you, like right now my desk is, I'm gonna clean it up, but I can't work in this space because when I have an idea, I'm trying to look for the pen and I'm trying to look for paper and where's that one thing that made this connection to that connection. I can't do it. Now the idea is slowly fading away and now I'm wasting unnecessary time because my systems weren't in place, because my desk isn't clean, and now I'm spending all this time and all this energy and now the idea is gone and now you get frustrated and then you could feel discouraged and then you become unproductive because you start getting, you know, just really frustrated at yourself. So before I even try to do anything else, I'll see what needs to be cleaned. What can I declutter? What can I throw out? This way I can have good workflow. That's why feng shui, I don't know if y'all heard about feng shui, but it's basically that. It's putting pieces, if you hear little footsteps, this is my doggy, but it's basically putting pieces in your office that create a nice flow, a good energy so that there's no blockage anywhere. And that's one of the things. Like another way I could describe it is if you have all your clothes thrown everywhere, but you're looking for that one shirt, the shirt exists. The shirt is there and you know the shirt exists and you know the shirt is there. You just can't find it because it's underneath all these other clothes, right? And now you're sitting there wasting time, throwing things around, getting frustrated. Where is the shirt? Where is the shirt? And sometimes I know this happens to me is that I'll grab the shirt that I'm looking for, but my mind is so consumed with the mess around me that I overlook that shirt. And that's similar to the clutter that can happen in your brain, in your mind, when you are trying to sit there and maybe build on an idea or trying to grab an idea from the ether, right? Or, you know, you have this idea, now you're trying to jot it down, but now everything else is distracting you. When we respect our workspace, when we're able to allow ourselves to really just sit there and take advantage of the space that we created, that's the moment where we're going to see ourselves level up, because we don't allow anything to get in the way of it. But also, I want y'all to know that it's okay for your workspace to sometimes get like this, right? Because this is also the result of creating ideas. This is the result of me writing stuff down and feeling inspired and grabbing this book and grabbing that book and grabbing these color pencils and highlighters and pens and all those things. This is the result of that. But once it got like this, I'm like, okay, now I need to clean it out, fix it, because the next time I get another idea, I want to be able to kind of make it look like this by the end of it, because I know that it was a successful idea that was created. That brings me into the next one, which is social media limits. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I like to scroll on TikTok sometimes. I like to go on Instagram. I am also guilty of that. However, it's not good. Too much of anything is not good. Let me throw that out there. But when it comes to social media, there's something that triggers our brain when we're on that. We start comparing ourselves. We start unnecessarily scrolling for hours and hours. And those hours can go by so fast that you literally don't notice until the moment you look up to take like a breath of fresh air and you realize that you were scrolling for like 3-4 hours. I know it's happened to you. I know, because it's happened to me. Okay. Yes, it's happened to me. So one of the things I love to do is put social media limits. Go into settings, I go into screen time, I go to the section where it says app limits, and I turn that on, and I just put how much time I want to spend every single day on TikTok and Instagram. Because trust me, sometimes we all mean well. We say we're gonna go on for 5-10 minutes, and then we get distracted, and then we're on there for longer than what we want. And just to avoid that, create that habit, that little routine, just to like start training our brains to say, hey, you've reached the limit, stop, go do something else. That app, the app limit, helps me truly. It's helped me a lot. I realized that most recently within the last year, since putting that on, my screen time has gone down significantly. Like when you look at your screen time, you're going to be in shock how much time you just spend on those apps. And if you really are honest with yourself, you'll sit there and ask yourself, what could I have done with that time towards my dreams, towards my future self that could get me just one day closer, one step closer? And you'll see that is a whole bunch of things that you could have done. So it's okay. This is why the video is here. It's healthy habits, it's routines, it's rituals, it's little things that add up to bigger things. That brings me into content consumption. There's so much content being put out there on a day-to-day basis that our brains can't physically sit down and kind of analyze and reflect on what we just consumed. There's the news. I haven't watched the news in probably a decade. I'm not even kidding. If there's something that's extremely important, trust me, we will get an alert on our phones. Sometimes we're seeing so much scarcity, so much tragedies. There's so much traumas that happens to other people that now we're sitting there watching this video, and it's almost like our brains don't really know the difference. So our bodies are sitting there experiencing this trauma through this other person's eyes, and now it becomes our trauma. So we have to just be very mindful of like the stuff that we are consuming. This is why I like to go on YouTube. I like to watch certain interviews. I am very specific on the things that I click on because I know that the algorithm is going to feed me more of those things. I know that the algorithm is going to say, you like motivational stuff, I'm going to show you more motivational stuff. You like puppies eating puppuccinos, I'm going to show you more puppies eating puppuccinos. Like the algorithm knows what it's doing. And if you really want to configure whatever it is that you're watching and make that algorithm strong to suit you, to benefit you, those are the things that you have to be mindful about. Scroll past whatever it is, any negative things, scroll past it, don't even look at it, don't waste your time on it, and start feeding yourself more inspirational things, more motivational things, more just lighthearted, funny things that help you learn and things that help you grow. And if you're sitting there saying to yourself, well, I'm going to be bored, right? Because maybe social media was your form of entertainment. Get your hands on a good book. Reading is so powerful, y'all. Self-education comes with reading. For one, reading sparks new ideas, educates you, makes you feel a connection. It's great storytelling. It helps you get different perspectives from different people. It helps you see things differently for the better. I also love to read books about my culture, written by Latinos. I have this book right here. It's called When I Was Puerto Rican by Esmeralda Santiago. And actually, I went to this event where she signed it for me. This one right here, Finding Latinx in Search of the Voices Redefining Latino Identity by Paola Ramos. Like, I didn't get through all of this one yet, but I have little sticky notes because I'm like, this is really interesting. I want to refer back to that because when I make this video or when I'm talking to this person, I want to bring up a point that I read. There's so many benefits to reading. I'm going to give you a tip though. When you are reading, get a pen and get a paper, whatever it is, or open up notes on your phone, but you're going to want something nearby because what reading does, it helps you tap into your creative side. It helps you tap into all those ideas that maybe you couldn't really form, but reading will help you form those things. It really helps you see it like fleshed out right in front of you. I mean, there's so many books out there that you could get your hands on, so many themes and so many topics that you can learn on. And it's like so endless, honestly. And instead of paying for a whole college tuition, you could pay a few bucks for a couple books and educate yourself at your own pace. But you want to have a pen and paper close by because so many ideas are going to start sparking. You're going to want to jot them down because the moment you're done with that chapter or that book, you're going to want to look back at that piece of paper or the notes app, whatever it is that you used, and you're going to want to build on those ideas. Those are the ideas that are going to make you great. Those are the ideas that are going to make you who you envision yourself being. And another thing with reading is that whether you realize it or not, your brain is going to start picking up little information from every page, every book that you read, so that it can use it later on in life. If you get your hands on a good book, you'll be surprised how quick the time is going to go. So instead of scrolling and basically learning nothing, right, or learning some little to no information, you can actually get your hands on a book that's going to further your career, further your knowledge, and be able to put you in a place that the moment you are in front of somebody or you're in a room that needs a specific answer, you're the one that has the answers to those questions. So get your hands on a good book, have a pen and paper nearby. You're going to see ideas start flying. Anyways, that brings me into the next thing, which is changing your environment. There's so many things about changing your environment that's so important, but quick little story time. When I used to live on Dykeman, one thing that really was hard for me to do was to have new ideas. And if I did have an idea, to kind of hold on to that idea or that feeling or whatever that thing was, that I knew that if I stuck with it, it was going to help me push past that blockage in my career, whatever it is. It was hard for me to do that because the energy area was all about survival and everybody there was negative, and music will be blaring from like the speakers and the cars and or the next door neighbor at all hours of the day. They didn't care. They didn't believe in rest. There's no such thing as rest there. Everybody's just on go, 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 very careless about other people. And that's just what it was. When I met Nate, which is my fiance now, we've been together for 10 years. Almost 11 now when you start counting down the months, but we would have to wake up in the morning and we just changed our environment. We walked a couple blocks up to the corner of Broadway, and that was when Starbucks is still there, but we would use that as our office. And I realized the people in that Starbucks versus the people at Dunkin' Donuts were completely different energy wise. It was just the little things. These were professionals versus when I went to Dunkin' Donuts, it was just people who had bad attitudes, angry that they had to work at the job that they had to work at, side-eyeing you at like 6, 7 in the morning. I'm like, yo, it's way too early for this. But don't get it twisted because I could give back to you kind of thing. But that's not the energy that I was trying to tap into. I knew I wanted more, so I knew I had to change that environment. I knew I had to find people that reflected that mirrored that, right? And so we used to go to Starbucks. Changing your environment also allows you to meet with like-minded people. You start having more insightful conversations. You start realizing that maybe one hand can wash the other, right? It's networking, it's coming together and maybe building on something. Like Adam Sandler, his Happy Madison production, like he found a group of friends and look what they do now. They make such great movies. But that was from going out there, doing what he wanted to do, right? Having a love for something and meeting people that also had a love for that same thing, and then them going through this journey together. Definitely change your environment. And there's just so much experience that comes with going out there and changing your environment and getting to know what the world is, right? You're not just stuck in that little like low energy. You go out there and you get inspired. You feel motivated. You learn just from sitting down and visualizing. Like go to a park and sit down in a park and people watch. You'll see how many ideas spark. Bring a book with you while you're at the park. Leave your phone on Do Not Disturb and open up that book with your pen and your paper at the ready and just sit down there and get in touch with nature. You'll start seeing how much more different you'll start looking at things. Your perspective will change, and also just the way you approach certain things. And with that being said, that is why another healthy habit and routine / ritual that I do is I go for walks. I don't go for walks every night, but I feel like I've been going for a lot more walks more consistently recently in the evening with Nate, and walks are something that really allows me to slow down my thoughts. It allows me to get in touch with nature. It allows me to get in touch with my emotions. And it's also helped me lose weight. Like there's some stubborn fat that I had on me, and I realized how walking kind of has helped that as well. And one of the things that I've loved about walking is that, for one, it's a form of movement, right? It's getting you out there, it's getting you to move your body, and movement is so important for us because a lot of the times we're behind computers or we're sedentary throughout most of our days. that the moment we get up and we move our body, we move energy, we move emotion through it, and you'll start seeing how much more grounded you're gonna feel. You'll be surprised, maybe your voice sounds like a little bit more different, more deeper, because now you're so grounded. You're not just working from up here. You're working from your whole entire body. One of the things I've noticed too, what has helped me on my walks, is that there's days where I may not take my headphones because maybe I've been listening to music all day or just on the phone all day or something, maybe around too many electronics. I just love to listen to nature. I just love to hear the cars passing, the birds chirping. I just love hearing Mother Nature. You'll see how beautiful nature is. Sometimes we can overlook something as simple as the tree that we pass on our way to work every morning. But one of the things that has truly helped me on my walks is the music that I listen to. Music are like mantras. Music is storytelling. There's so many songs that I hear. I actually have a playlist, I'm gonna link it below, that I do on my walks. As I'm walking, I'm creating this whole movie in my head. I'm like, I remember this, it gives me time to reflect again. It gives me time to see myself in the future, maybe visualize that a little bit more, manifest a lot more, just really get in tune with my thoughts, my emotions, mind, body, and spirit, like all of those things. Music has energy that makes you feel a specific way, because when you're watching a scary movie, they're not going to be playing no Adele. They're going to be playing eerie music, because what happens when you start hearing those certain sounds, your body starts feeling a certain way, right? You're like nervous, maybe you might be sweating a little bit, you don't know why you're scared, you're like at the edge of your seat. But when you're watching a romance movie, they start playing like melodies, like these soft string music, and it does something to you. Now you're like in this awe state, right? Because they know the power behind sound, the power behind music. The music you listen to has an effect on how you feel. So make sure that you're listening to something that's uplifting, that's motivational, that's inspiring. It can also be podcasts. I know a lot of people love to listen to podcasts. As an actor, I'm just creating scenes and movies in my head all day and scenarios that I use the music as like the soundtrack. That also leads me into mindfulness with your words. When you listen to like good music, like for example, Nas, I Can, right? Like, I know I can be what I want to be. That's a mantra. I know I can be what I want to be. You got to be very mindful with your words. Thoughts become things, words become things, right? What you say is going to feed back into you because you're actively listening to what you are saying. So if you say, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, the person who says I can and I can't are both correct. So what person do you want to be? Do you want to be the person that can't do anything, or do you want to be the person that can do the things? You know you can do it. We can all do it, right? We just have to work for it. So just being mindful of the words that you speak to yourself. Stop being so hard on yourself. Stop saying, oh, I hate how my legs look, or I hate how I look here, or I look disgusting, or just little things like that. Things that, to us, we may say it and not truly mean it, but then you start realizing that you start saying it more and more, and then you start believing it. So we gotta just be a lot more mindful of the words that we say. Just be careful saying that you can't do something, that you're not good at something, that you're not smart enough, Start saying that you are smart enough. And if you do sit there and say, well, don't feel like I am smart enough, grab a book, educate yourself, watch a YouTube video. You have the power. Problem, solution, right? If you feel like you're not smart enough at whatever topic that is, whatever thing it is, find the solution, which is educating yourself. Watch a YouTube video on it. Problem solved, baby. If I sat there and said, I'm not going to book this, I'm not good enough, somebody else has more training than me, somebody else deserves this role, it's not me, I'm not good enough. If I sat there and said that, I would have never booked Saved by the Bell. A life-changing role. This role changed my life. It made my dreams come true. As a Latina, as the daughter of a mother who came from the Dominican Republic at 14 years old, and my dad from Puerto Rico when he was 1, who's lived in the same apartment all his life, my mom who moved around a lot, parents not being together. If I sat there, and I grew up on Dykeman, not a lot of resources, not a lot of things. If I sat there and I let all those things deteriorate me or bring me down, I would have never booked Saved by the Bell. So be careful with what you tell yourself. And I could make a whole nother story time, a whole nother thing on that. But this video is long enough. So here is the last one, your sleeping pattern. I'm telling y'all, back then I used to go to bed at 3 a.m. But the next day, I was not waking up early. Absolutely not. I was not waking up early. No. Best believe I would wake up at 1 p.m. The day is already halfway done. People are already halfway done with their work, with everything that they did. And now I'm just trying to start my day at 1. Unproductive, inconsistency, tired, sluggish throughout the whole day. I was working backwards. Your sleep is so important because there's something that our bodies have, and it's called the circadian rhythm. And this is basically the breakdown, the scientific breakdown. But basically what it is that our bodies have an internal clock, right? So when it hits a certain time of the day, you should allow yourself to feel tired during that time. You should start getting ready for bed. Our body's internal clock is already programmed for that. If you get to bed by like 10 p.m. and you get your 8 hours and you wake up, you'll have a lot more energy that morning in order for you to have more energy to put towards your dreams and your passions in life. And look, I'm not saying that you have to do it every single day. Choose the days that you wanna, go out. Saturday night, Friday night, fine. Those are the 2 days that you may not go to bed early. Every day after that, every other day after that, we gotta put in the work now. Because if we don't put in the work now, if we're not doing it for us, nobody else is gonna do it. Nobody else is gonna sleep those 8 hours for us and then transfer that energy to us. Unheard of, can't happen. So we have to create that discipline. That's a healthy habit that we have to implement ourselves so that we're able to wake up with the right energy, so that we are able to give everything that we've got, all 100% of ourselves, to our dreams and our goals in our lives. And I was able to get up, knock everything out, and get a lot more done before the average person woke up. So chicas, those are my healthy habits / rituals, routines that I've implemented in my life that have helped me reach where I'm at today, and that have continued to help me just keep going and pushing forward every single day. So that's a wrap on this video. If you enjoyed this one, I'm sure you're gonna love this one right here. Bye.